I'm almost 30 now, yet I'm more energetic, attractive, wealthy, and growth-oriented than I was when I was 20. And the reason for this is because during my 20s, I built 4 unusual habits that allowed me to go from feeling lost to mastering my 20s and setting my 30s up for success. So if you want to master your 20s or even your 30s, in this video, I'm going to show you how. Now, the first unusual habit I built in my 20s that I personally believe has played a big role in allowing me to master my 20s was that I created my character. Before I did this, I realized that most men in their 20s really have no idea who they are, what they want to be, and what they want to stand for. Most men and people in general are really just a reflection of their upbringing, their culture, their family, their society. And this is why most men in their 20s are lost. Luckily, I recognized this early on, and I made it my mission to figure out these questions myself by basically looking at life like a video game, and me, the character. I know most of you guys here have played video games, so imagine that you were a video game character. Who would you be? How would you act? What would you be known for? I started asking myself these type of questions about what character I'd like to play, and this led me to eventually figuring out who I am, and basically put me on a self-appointed quest to start working towards it. And I know some of you may think this is fake or inauthentic, but really ask yourself, bro, what even is fake? What even is inauthentic? Who even are you? And what has made you become that way? Because as I stated earlier, most people are really just a reflection of the society they were born into, and combined with all the environmental factors they experienced growing up. If you really look at it, the truth is, most people are just NPCs, following the script they were given since birth, and have never even thought to be someone different. That's why most people don't even know their values, don't even know their beliefs, don't even know why they're here. What you need to realize is that once you stop waiting for someone to tell you who you are and start deciding who you are yourself, you start to move from an NPC to an actual real life character that you get to design, play as, and succeed in. This has basically given me an eternal quest or purpose of sorts, because from this character I created, I have been able to build everything off of, and I am able to live in absolute alignment with this character in all my actions, because I'm living as the person I want to be. I'm living as the person I created. It may seem like a subtle shift, but I kid you not, I used to wake up every day depressed. I used to wake up every day lost. But now I wake up feeling excited because I'm on a mission I created that no one can take away from me. And every step I take every single day towards my mission makes me feel like I'm progressing in the life that I decided I want to live, and ultimately makes me feel like I'm growing, because I am growing. Because of this self-created character that has formed into a self-created mission, I'm able to live my life with purpose and move with purpose in everything I do. So if you're feeling lost, feeling like you don't have a reason to be here, start thinking about the character you'd want to be and start living from it. Now, the second unusual habit I built in my 20s was that I started planning my life. I'm not talking about planning a vacation or things I might want to do when I'm older. I'm talking about planning my days, my weeks, my months, and my years ahead. I started thinking not just about what I wanted to achieve today or next week like the average person, but about my entire life and what I wanted to experience in it. Because of this, every decision I started to make naturally started to work within the context of the life I wanted to experience. And if I felt like a decision would move me away from the life I wanted, I just wouldn't do it. Most people may see this as restrictive or unnecessary, but I saw this as freeing and essential. It's this very habit that I believe has allowed me to completely transform my life's path and helped me eliminate making bad decisions that most people make due to not thinking long term. When you go from thinking day to day to thinking generationally, your whole mindset flips and changes, and the decisions you make tend to become a lot smarter, because I'm not thinking about just tomorrow or next week or even next year. I'm thinking about my whole life and my family and kids' lives down the line. The reason this is the second habit, not the first, is because pairing this habit with the character I created allowed me to basically feel like I'm creating my own story, because I am. These two habits have enabled me to move from feeling like I was living a pointless life to feeling like the main character in a movie I created for myself. And guess what? People can feel that energy. It's a subtle shift, but when you go from feeling lost to feeling like you belong here and that you're making a difference in everything you do, people will start to notice it. This is in stark contrast to most men in their 20s who are lost, who don't know why they're here, who are just going through the motions, and unfortunately, depressed with no one to talk to. Because of this, it's actually very easy to stand out when you go against the grain and appear different by doing something like this. And even beyond all of that, the mental fortitude, the mental confidence, the feeling you have inside of yourself is more than enough of a reason why you want to do this. Most people in general rely on external things to form their identity, but this right here is internal. Nobody can take away who you decide to be. With a mindset like this, you can lose everything and still be confident in who you are, because you decided who you are, no one else. By the way, if you're tired of just watching videos without getting any results and you truly do want to fix your problems, book a private session with me or check out my free ebook. And if you just got a quick question, drop it in the comments. Now, the third unusual habit was that I created daily routines that would effortlessly enable me to move towards the life I told myself I wanted to experience. Now, it's one thing to create a character and another thing to plan your life, but without consistent daily actions to reinforce your decisions, bro, you may as well not even start. That's why I started to pay more attention to the things I was doing every day. I started to realize that when we look at someone successful, we often think they're just lucky or blessed, but we never take the time to think how they actually got there. We never see the tens of thousands of hours of daily repetitive actions that got them to where they are today. So I told myself that if I wanted to be the character I created, if I wanted to live the life I've planned, I need to put in those tens of thousands of hours to get to where I want to go. And this has led me on a journey of self-development and identifying all the habits in my life, good and bad, then removing and replacing the bad habits with good ones, while also continuing to build upon the good habits. This has basically enabled me to build daily routines that I truly do love and enjoy, because I actually took the time to consciously build it, compared to 99% of men who have daily routines they're not even aware of and don't even like. This may seem simple, but when you start to actually realize how important habits are and the amount of impact they play in our daily lives, you start to realize that this is a necessity. Right now, you're probably running on habits that you don't even realize, that you picked up at some point while you were growing up. And if those habits are bringing you negative results, then guess what? You are actively sabotaging yourself without you even realizing it, because your habits happen on autopilot. We do them without even thinking. That's why taking the time to recognize those habits and seeing the effect they're having on your life really does help a lot. Because the moment you eliminate all those negative habits and then install positive habits over them, guess what? Your life starts to grow in the direction you want automatically. This is the power of habits, and also the power of building daily routines. Now, the fourth and honestly the most important unusual habit I built was developing a growth mindset. Why is this important? Well, what you should realize is that there are only two types of people in this world. One with a fixed mindset and one with a growth mindset. You can't be both. Now, the person with a fixed mindset will look at everything he experiences in his life as permanent. If he hates himself and doesn't look like the way he looks in the mirror, he's gonna tell himself he's just a f**k-up and silently deal with it by taking pills to suppress how he actually feels. If he's lost and depressed with the way his life is going, he's gonna blame the state of society and rationalize that most men are lost anyways, so there's nothing that can be done about it. If he struggles with women and is antisocial, he's gonna blame it on his personality or his looks, give up entirely, and think he'll attract a girl that likes him for him without putting any effort in to find her, or that he'll just never attract a girl. Do you see what I'm getting at here? The type of guy with a fixed mindset will always look at his results in life as fixed and blame everything but himself, because at the core of his identity, he believes he's a victim. Because it's easier to believe that life is against him than to recognize that he's actually against himself. This type of person is their own worst enemy. And for the majority of my life, this is who I was, bro. Everything I mentioned were issues I experienced at one time in my life, but after I started to develop my growth mindset, I started changing. Instead of hating myself and how I looked, I started practicing self-love and working on loving who I am right now. Instead of blaming society and rationalizing that that it was okay to feel lost and depressed, I stopped telling myself it was okay, and I started looking inwards to figure out who I wanted to become. Instead of blaming my personality and my looks for the reason why I couldn't get women, I started accepting who I am and consistently putting myself out there to find the woman I wanted to be with. Beyond all of that, instead of blaming everything but myself and living like a victim, I started telling myself I'm responsible for every result in my life and started living like a creator. And guess what? Over time, I overcame all of these issues because of the growth mindset I developed that told me I can change anything I want as long as I'm willing to put in the work to do it. That's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The man with a growth mindset will continue to overcome all issues he faces, while the man with a fixed mindset will get stuck and be forced to face the same issues for the rest of his life. And if you thought those habits were good, you definitely need to check out this video next, where I talk to you about 5 stoic habits you must build for men's self-improvement.